Hello, Kelly here with Kelly's Rogue Life, and I am with you today to talk about the crystal that I am working with in the month of November. So every month this year, I have worked with four different things in order to go deeper in each of those areas. And so I've worked with a crystal, an herb, a deck, and a book. And sometimes the books have gone over if they've been longer. Sometimes they've gone over, and I've like last September and October, I did the same book, and I think probably November and December I will be working with the same book because I actually have two books that go together. So I think I'm going to work on both of those in November and December and tell you how they're going as we go along. But today, and I'll have all that information for you in the description so you will see what I've been working with and what I'm going to work with for the rest of November. But today, I want to talk to you about the crystal that I've been working with, which is Lapis Lazuli. And here is a piece of Lapis Lazuli, and it's kind of blurry, but you can see it's a very, very beautiful dark blue color. And I found out the reason that it has this very dark blue color is because it's made up of different crystals all together, and it gives it that unique look. And it definitely has a very unique look. So it's a mixture of lazurite, sodalite, and those give it that dark blue color. And then it's got some calcite in it, and then it also has pyrite in it. And if you know anything about crystals, you know that pyrite is that really shiny gold stone, and it's very beautiful. It's very shiny, and you can see in here how it has that banding of gold in it, and so that's the pyrite in the lapis lazuli. And so it gives it just beautiful color, and that dark blue is very supportive of it can be very supportive of your third eye chakra. If you work with your chakras, it can be very supportive of your throat chakra because it gives you wisdom and it gives you kind of that depth of meaning. And so you can really work with that crystal in that way. So I want to tell you a little bit. This is the crystals that I've been working with this year. Some of them have been crystals that have been around, have been around. Well, all the crystals have been around because they're deep in the earth growing. And some of the crystals that I have worked with have been ones that have been discovered by humanity over the centuries and have been used for many different reasons over the years. And some of them are quite recent that have just been found or just been discovered. And lapis lazuli is one that has definitely been around for the centuries. And it is probably most famously in in use with the ancient Egyptians. It was a very highly prized stone there in their civilization, and it was buried with King Tut. It's often buried with the royals. It was often ground up and used as a dye or a color. And I think there was a story of Cleopatra and how she used it for her eye makeup. And so it was definitely very much prized in the ancient Egyptian civilization. And it's been mentioned in the Old Testament as one of the crystals or stones in the breastplate of the high priest. And then it was also ground up and used in the time of Michelangelo, and he used it and really liked it to the color that it made and used it in his paintings. And so it has definitely been around and been highly prized, and you can see why. It's just a beautiful stone, and it has, it's very magical as well. It has a lot of metaphysical properties, and it is one that you can definitely use today and tap into if you like working with ancient Egyptian civilizations and the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. It's a wonderful stone to connect with that. If you like to work artistically and work with artists, or you are an artist, then it is a good stone to work for that. It is nowadays a stone that is really good for any any position or any career in which you need to speak the truth, like a journalist or a psychologist that's looking for inner wisdom. Attorneys, it's good for them because they get the truth from this stone. Archaeologists, it's a good way to dig into the past and dig deeper underneath the surface. So it's a good stone if you're interested in or in any of those fields. Then it's a good stone for you to use in kind of a career setting for for that kind of stone. It's also really good to use when you want to connect to your higher mind, when you want to really tap into your intellect, when you want to tap into learning or memory, when you want to seek the truth and seek knowledge. And so that, and I think that a lot of times stones and crystals and the practices that we do, we're always looking to kind of go beyond our mind, to go into meditation and put aside our thoughts. But there's lots of times that we really need to rely on our memory, and we really need to rely on learning. We want to learn something new. We want to remember something. We want to figure out a situation and use wisdom and intellect to get to that point. So this is a really good stone to tap into that and to find that balance between your mind and your wisdom and your thoughts and your inner wisdom and your inner eye, your third eye, so that you can really make a good decision. So it's a really great stone for that. It is a stone for friendship and harmony, because I think that it has these different kinds of stones that work really well together and harmonized well together. So it's a really good stone to work with friendship. If you are looking for friendship or you're looking for harmony in relationship, then it's a good stone for that. And it's also for protection. If you want to do some protection magic, and a lot of times we want to do some protection magic, we want that if somebody is, we have some just bad vibes coming from somewhere and we want to give it back. And so this is a good stone to use if you're looking for that kind of magic and want to have something that's protective and that will also kind of just send back anything that's being sent to you and shouldn't be there. So this is a good one for that kind of magic. It really does harmonize your mind, your heart, and your throat, like I said, so that you're speaking well, so that you're expressing the things that you want to express. You're saying the things that you want to say, and you're saying it in a good way. You're being tactful in the way that you're expressing things, because we can sometimes think, well, I just need to say the truth. I just need to speak the truth. And sometimes you do need to speak the truth. And sometimes we need to be more tactful and speak the truth, but speak it in a way so that we're understood and so that other people we can work with the other people around us. So it's a really good stone for that. And it's also a very high vibration stone, so that you can really tap into your inner self, your higher self, during any kind of deep meditation. And so those were all things that Lapis Lazuli is really good at. But the one thing that I think that it's really good at too is helping you when you have something out in society, your social ability, times that you have to be around other people or you want to be around other people. And sometimes we really get hung up on how other people think about us or how other people see us. Or we get really worried about, what we look like or what we're wearing or, our haircut or any number of things. And that keeps us from having our picture taken. It keeps us from going to parties. It keeps us from, meeting friends just out for lunch. It keeps us from doing some of the things that we really want to do, but we kind of get in that thought spiral of, if I do this, then people are going to think this of me, and so then you just get into that really bad place that keeps you from doing things that you really want to do. It keeps you from having that courage to say, I am who I am. I'm going to show up and be my best self. And, people are going to like me, and not everybody's going to like you. And that's just, a fact of life. But if you like yourself and take that with you when you have to go out into public, especially if you're, much more introverted, and it's much harder for you to go out in public, and it really drains your battery when you do that. This is a good stone to work with. So I'm going to show you a ritual that you can do when you are faced with this. And I think this is a good one coming up because with the holidays that are coming up, many of us have situations that we may be going into that we really do want to show up for. And for some reason, we feel like that we're not good enough, or that we just really can't, or we just need that little push to get us through it. Or we need also the the wisdom to say no. There's sometimes that we need to say no to things, and we need to be able to say that too, and have the wisdom to say that. But this is a good a magic spell that you can do for yourself, and when you know that you're faced with something that you need to face in society, something you need to get out of hermit mode and go out into the world, and you know that you're really going to have a good time, and you really want to enjoy yourself, and this crystal can give you that little oomph. And you have a crystal, you can take it with you, and I'm going to show you how to kind of put that intention in your crystal, and then you can take it with you, or you can write your intention down, and it will just bring that energy of this crystal into your intention, and then you can take that intention with you when you are going out. So these are the things that you will need. If you have a lapis lazuli stone, grab your stone. You can also get a picture, have it on. You might have a crystal oracle card that you might want to use. You might have another stone that you can use in place of it. If you have some pyrite, if you have some sodalite, if you have just clear quartz or something like that, you can imbue the energy of lapis lazuli into whatever you're using. So grab your stone. So we're going to use our stone here. And then because this crystal has the very dark blue in it and the yellow and the gold in it, I'm going to use a blue candle and a yellow candle. So I'm going to have my candles here, and I'm going to put this is just some oil. This is some oil that I have. I think it's jojoba oil that I used. But I used it and I infused it this spring with some fresh violets from my yard. So I have this fresh violet oil. So I'm going to use that and just put a few drops just like this on my candle. And then the other candle. To put that on the candle. So now I have these two candles, and you could do this with oils that you have. If you have essential oils, you can mix the essential oil with a carrier oil and use that. You don't have to put anything. You could put just some herbs around it. I wouldn't put herbs on the candle. I would just, if you were going to use an herb, maybe just put it, down around the candle. So I have these in candle holders, so you could use it, put it on a plate, put some herbs on it. And then I have these two candles. So I have here, and then I have my lapis lazuli, and I'm going to put that in the middle. And then I have my intention that I've written out, and I'll have this on a PDF for you. So if you want to use this intention, you can. If you want to write your own, you can do that, but just write it on a small piece of paper. And because we're going to say it, fold it up, and put it underneath the crystal and leave it there until the candles burn down. So use candles that will burn down pretty quickly, or you can light them and let them burn a little bit to get your intention in it, and then you can come back and to it if you need to. But try to use candles that will burn down pretty quickly. So I'm going to, now that I've got everything ready, I want to light my candles. Like the yellow one. And then one. And I'll put that down. And then with the crystal, I'm going to say my intention. May the wisdom of Lapis Lazuli be imbued in me. May my words be true, my heart be pure, and my thoughts be free. So may it be. And you can take your intention, hold it up. And I'm going to put it underneath my crystal like this. Between my candles. And so that intention of of being now, when I am faced with going out into public or going into a something out in society where I want this wisdom, this connection with Lapis Lazuli, then it is already in this crystal. And again, you can just use the intention. If you don't have a stone, you can use it, or use a substitute stone. You can just use the intention and let your candles burn down. And you could use anything if you want to, just if you don't like burning things in, wherever you are, you can just have the candles and just, ask the candles to imbue this wisdom into your crystal so that you can take it with you, or into your intention so that you can take it with you. So that is it. I'm just going to leave my candles here to burn down in between, and I have in between my intention and the lapis lazuli. And always make sure that if you are burning something, especially with a piece of paper or anything around it, that you are watching very carefully. You might just want to move it out of the way, and make sure that you are watching very carefully, and that you are very fire safe. And that is it for lapis lazuli. So I hope that you do some lapis lazuli magic with your crystals, and let me know if you do this spell and how it works out for you. And I will soon be coming. I've been working with lapis lazuli. I've been working with that crystal for this month, and I'm also working with the herb Mullein. And so next week I'll have a video on the herb that I've been working with. And then towards the end of the month, I am working with two decks. And this one, and this is the Mystic, Augur, and Sage Oracle by Kelly Burton. And this is also by Kelly Burton. And this is the Flight of the Butterfly tarot. So I'm working with these together, and I'll tell you about those because the Mystic, Augur, and Sage Oracle has something kind of unique with it. And so I've been using those together, and using the cards that come with that Oracle deck, and I'll tell you about that later. And I'm also reading, this is the Goddess Afoot book, and there's also the one I'm reading now is Goddess Alive by Michelle Skye, and this really goes in depth with a lot of goddesses. And so this has been a really interesting read so far. So this again, probably work with that one November and December and work with those two together. So I'll have a report on how that's going later on this month as well. So thank you for being with me and thank you for doing some lapis lazuli magic with me. And I will see you again soon. Bye.